Recorded live with little no editing, it's Defense Up War Edition. Today we're going over Bahamut with a B, their war defense. We haven't done a war defense in a while. And we're doing it sans music, by the way. I'm having some technical issues. So there's not going to be any sound of this one. I figured no music was better than blaring music. All right, Bahamut is, let me see, they are 14.7 million TCP in Plat 2. We've got some funny things going on. They went a little too heavy on the defense, I think, for a Plat 2 15 mil defense. All right, so first team is the Infinity Watch. Now, this is fine. You've got Striker on everybody, Healer on Moonstone, and of course, or Moondragon, excuse me. Almost unlocking my Moonstone character today, so I'm got her on the brain. Nebula is a skirmisher. This is perfect. The placement's fine. Placement on this team really doesn't matter. It's very negligible. What we would like to see is a little bit more investment in this team. It's got a bit of investment, and of course, you've got a great big Gamora in there. Go ahead and bring up the rest of this team. It still has value. We're thinking somewhere in the vicinity of G14, G15 so that they're usable. I think that they're on defense right now simply because they are not built up big enough to be effective as an offensive team. I think that should change. I think this team still has a lot of value. Everybody's using them in Crucible, and a lot of people are still using them on offense in War, especially for like Tangled Web team, or not, excuse me. Well, Tangled Web it works on, and Death Seed when you find people using Death Seed on defense. So all in all, it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give it an A, but I would like to see further investment in this team. Team number 2, this is an uncanny team. It's over the hill. I would like to see Skirmisher with proper T4s and Colossus. I'd like to see Blue 2.3 on everybody. I'd like to see what's her face with the big Buster sword over there. I'd like to see her built up to like gear tier 15. I'd like to see a Raider ISO on Storm, but mostly I'd like to see you not invest in this team at all. They are old. They are not worth it. None of those changes, even to Magic, none of that is going to help you. It's not going to get you anything. This team's going to lose no matter what. They're just too far gone. They are not worth investing. It's not even worth, you could change placement with Magic and put her in the center maybe. That's not even going to make a difference. It's old and busted. So I'm going to give this a C because it was done wrong. But like I said, it's not worth doing anything more to it. So leave it alone. Team number 3 is the Death Seed team. Everything here looks good. Let's continue building this team, high value team. But we're going to take this team off and put them on offense. We could replace it with something like an Underworld team because you don't have to invest too much in Underworld for them to be a pretty decent defense. You can make that like a Zemo Red Skull hybrid version and save yourself the points because you don't need to invest in Red Skull all that much, and you probably got a Zemo built up. If you want to go that route to replace this team, of course, the Underworld is also a good offensive team, but I'd say use them on offense once they're built up bigger. Anyway, take this team off, use them on offense. They're easily defeated with a mirror match. They're easily defeated with a couple of different things. But they beat a lot of things on offense, so let's use them over there. I can still give it an A. Nothing's wasted. I'm going to say A- because I would like to see something else in their place. I think you're going to do better with using them as a stick rather than a carrot. Okay, number 4 is the Hero Asgardian team. I don't like Fortifier on Sif. She's always the last to die no matter what. Let's trade places with Thor and Sif so that you don't have this cluster of 3 right here. You don't want them put together like that. That's problematic. And then put Raider on everybody. Just put Raider on everybody. You can keep Mighty Thor as a striker. She's okay as a striker. And Valkyrie can be a striker, but you've already got her as a Raider. So leave her as a Raider because I think that's a better choice anyway. But definitely change Thor to a Raider. This, again, is a team that you probably built for the Scourges or some other reason, or you built them a long time ago thinking they were going to be good and have more value than they do. It's kind of an unfortunate team. The only place they're really good at is in War. And the only reason we're building them to put them on War is because we kind of had to build them for the Scourges, right? So it's not worth a big investment, but if you can spare the ISOs along the way, you might try to switch them up and you'll get a little bit better value making everybody a Raider on this team. But for sure, do the placement swap. That'll help you a little bit. I'm going to go B- on this team. Not very exciting. Over here, we have the Young Avenger team. This is pretty good. We want to move Squirrel Girl into the center in case somebody's using that the A-Force counter on it, and you don't need A-Force Doom. You could do A-Force Surfer. You could do A-Force Archangel if you wanted to. You could do A-Force a lot of things. It doesn't have to be Doom. So, but let's put Squirrel Girl in the center so when they come into that with that ability block, it either chains left or right, and you only get half the team. Otherwise, this is fine. We are going to be recommending you remove Chavez from this team and replace her with Miles. And when you do that, you'll probably want Miles a little more center since he goes invisible. But we'll talk about that later. If you want to run this version of the team, it's fine. We just want that placement swap. I'm going to give this an A-, just a little tweak. It's looking pretty good. Team number 6, and remember, this is War, not Crucible. That's why they're in room 6 and not room 5, because there's no room bonuses in War. Okay, this is fine, except I hate Noir. Noir's a big waste. He's a waste everywhere. Don't build him. Probably replace Noir with Chavez. A lot of people in chat today were talking about Chavez and who should be adjacent to Chavez on this build, because remember, in War, Chavez gives them a bajillion turn meter or something. I don't remember what it is, but she makes people go fast, fast, fast. So we want Chavez in here instead of Noir. If you don't want to do that, you should use, I don't know, a potato instead of Noir would probably be better. Also, we kind of like that this is 2 great offensive teams. So if you want to pull it and use the Eternals and use the Tangled Web, now you have 2 offensive teams. That would be a benefit to you as well. I kind of am coming around to the idea of throwing Chavez in here, putting her adjacent to probably Icarus and 99 or Icarus and Weaver. That's my thinking. Makes that team just go so fast. It basically forces them to come in with some sort of a sack team. And then, of course, the speeds are all wonky and you can catch those noobs off guard. So for me, putting Noir in here is a big failure. Building Noir is a big failure. And then the choice of using them on defense instead of 2 teams on offense is kind of a little ding. So I'm going to give this a C+. Honestly, I think you could do so much better with the tools in this room right now. All right, team number 7 is the Unlimited team. This team is not good on defense, not in War, and really not in Crucible either. I want you to remove this team or hybridize it. Like really hybridize it if you want to use it on defense. But I think just pull the team, use them on offense. They got great tools. Somebody's going to come in here with Cable instead of Phantom X or something and just mop the floor with this. Or if they're one of those people that just built Kang and not the whole Masters of Evil, that's going to make this an easy one-shot kind of mirror match. The placement for War, this is fine. Putting Gambit in the middle or Gambit to the outside. You could still even put Gambit next to Rogue if you really want to. Probably not going to make too much of a difference in War. There's a little bit more specific placements when we talk about Crucible, but this is okay. And we have an unfortunate ISO class choice locked in at 2.4 with Dazzler as a skirmisher. Not sure that was the way to go. You could pick worse, but you could have picked better. If you don't know what ISOs to use on a character, don't take them to blue 2.4. Leave them at blue 2.3 until you are certain of what you want to do, because going to 2.4 gets really expensive, and likewise with 5. So that was unfortunate. And Raider, by the way, is what I like to run her as. And then she's a skirmisher. That's fine. You could alternatively do a striker, but I run her as a skirmisher, and I really like that build anyway. Otherwise, it's all fine. So it's just that one ISO that I don't like there. That's going to be, I'm going to give you a B for the team. Just pull them for offense. Okay, team number 8 is the Web Warriors. They're a trash filler defense. It doesn't stop anything. They kind of just come into this with Bionic Avengers, or they smash down on it with something. They use a bunch of unavoidable attacks or whatever. They're an annoyance. They aren't stopping anybody. Let's swap places with Miles and Parker. That might be better. We're splitting hairs with that one. The ISO choices, they're good enough. They're good enough. It's not worth even worrying about changing it. If you can ever get away with not using this team on defense and using something better, then you should. But, earlier War play, you're going to be throwing them in here because, well, it's just something to throw in there. You had, us older players, we had to build this team at the time, and now we have it, and what else are you going to do with it? All right, so for me, this is A-. It's nothing to get excited about, really. And number 9 is the Heroes for Hire. There's a heavy investment in Iron Fist, which is sad. If there wasn't such a heavy investment in Iron Fist, I would recommend putting in a Red Guardian or a Captain America or something else just to kind of mix it up a little bit. I do like that Luke Cage is in the center here. That helps with the Dark Hunter counter because they have to chain from one side to the other, and it puts the disrupt on the first person you start with. So they'll probably be disrupting Shang-Chi instead of Luke Cage, and that's okay. So all in all, this is fine. You've got the pretty good ISOs on it. I'm okay with all the choices that are done here. I do like Raider on Iron Fist rather than Healer because of the amount of ability block that comes into this from all the various different counters for it. So there's really nothing done wrong here. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an A. There are other things you could do to improve it. And for those of you that don't have this team built, don't bother building them. Just build Shang-Chi if you want to. But keep your eye out for why people are building Shang-Chi and ask yourself if you really need him. Like if you're going to be building that Invaders teams for raids, you may not need Shang-Chi for anything. Although there's a lot of places he is used outside of the raids also. So give an A to that team. And over here we have Gamma on defense. I like Gamma on offense. It's kind of dealer's choice. We were talking about this behind the scenes. By the way, if you want to be a part of those conversations, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can come join us, be a part of chat. We have different content creators. Today we had Ambassador. We had, we had BendableStraws. We had RolfKieran. We had Pathfinder Gaming for a minute. So we had some people in there all helping me come up with some ideas. So remember, if you don't like any of this stuff, you go bitch to them, not to me. Anyway, this is fine. If you spot the error here, raise your hand. Yeah, Skirmisher on Red Hulk was a terrible choice. Now, Bahamut knows that was a bad choice. They regret it, but they're stuck there because they're on the hunt. And so they're just going to save the ISOs and deal with it. Honestly, just about any ISO class would have been a better choice than Skirmisher. I run mine as a Raider sometimes, but most of the time I like him as a Striker. I like getting the double tap. He has a lot of damage. That's kind of where he excels. You could run Green Hulk as a healer and Brawn as a healer if you wanted to. In that case, I definitely recommend Striker for Red Hulk. If you're going with this ISO class setup, Raider is a choice you could consider, but I just didn't really like it all that much. All in all, aside from the obvious mistake with the ISO wastefulness right there, if it weren't for that, this team would be an A, and I'd ask you to just consider whether you want more offensive attacks or a stronger defense, depending on where you're placed. If you're in a flight deck, you're going to want this for offense. If you're someplace, where you're getting all those positive effects on spawn, if you're adjacent to something really juicy, you're probably going to want them on defense. Kind of your choice. So, but with that horrible choosing of Skirmisher on the Red Hulk, I got to give this team a B-. That was a horrible waste of your ions right there. Sad state of affairs to be in for Bahamut, but at least they understood what they had done wrong before even sending me the picks. So that's how it goes sometimes. If you want your War or Crucible defense featured on Defense Up, links are in the description below. While you're down there, hit that like button, subscribe for more content. I've got several different lines of videos that come out pretty much daily. I think Sunday is the only day I don't have a video that ever posts, but we'll see about changing that. Also, I do have another YouTube channel, Sons of the Forest. I stream survival games on that other channel. I stream that on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays, but on that other YouTube channel, you can find those videos there if you're interested in something a little bit different than Marvel Strike Force. But don't worry about that if you don't want to. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.